guys, it's Maclover65, and today I have a different type of video for you guys. I'm also in a different room. I am in my brother's office, and I just felt like this was more like school related, I guess. This is where he likes to study for his med school and everything, and it's not really fun. And there was natural lighting, so I figured, why not? So anyway, I'm going to be doing a video basically about college and about school and my experience with college, because I have a little different experience than most people, and just basically my tips for how I'm successful in college, and basically tips from my brother and my boyfriend because they're in a different type of program, which I will share later on in this video. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and just keep watching if you guys want some tips. Honestly, I'm going to share a little bit about my college little experience and how mine is different than most people. So I was homeschooled. I started being homeschooled in 7th grade. My mom pulled me out of my school when I was in 6th grade, and it was basically my choice. It wasn't my mom's choice. It was something that I really wanted to do. And I was in theater and riding horses and figure skating, and I really wanted to pursue that, and I really wanted to try really hard in all of those fields that I had pursued. And I just really didn't have that much fun in school. I went to a private school. And so I was with a lot of kids for a very long period of time, and really our class didn't get along, so it really wasn't a fun environment to be in for me. And so my mom pulled me out, and it made learning so much easier for me, and I absolutely love being homeschooled. And no, I'm not one of those weird hermit crab kids that like never went anywhere and never had fun. Yes, I realize that I'm sitting in a chair talking to a camera and no one is talking back at me, but it's kind of awkward. Anyway, I realized that homeschooling gets a bad rap for kids that aren't very social, and that's not all kids, and that's actually just a stereotype. My 2 cousins are homeschooled, and they're very social, and they do it because they play basketball, and their basketball schedule is like the state that we live in numerous times during the week, and they travel, and that's something that they want to pursue. But with my homeschooling, I was very diligent in my work. My grandma was a teacher, my grandpa is in financial stuff, and so he did my math and my science. My grandma did everything else, so I got a really good, solid education from homeschooling. And when I was in the 9th grade, towards the end of the semester, basically this was around April, I think is when they did this with me, and they took me to a community college right by where I lived. And my mom didn't tell me that I was going there, and she had me take the entrance exam to college, and I actually was accepted into college at the age of 14, and by the time that I actually went to school I was 15. So I started my freshman year of college when I was 15 at a local community college. Community colleges are great. It's honestly the best place I think to start if you don't want to go away from home. It's a great place to start. It's a great way to get your gen eds out of the way. You don't realize how expensive big universities are until you go to one. I'm at a big university now where my normal classes right now aren't offered at a community college, and they are so expensive. My brother in med school, he pays $800 for a credit hour. For 1 credit hour, he will pay $800. That is ridiculous. I went to a community college and I might pay $200 for a class that I would probably pay about $500 to maybe $700 for a class at a big university. There's a huge difference. Books are a lot more expensive at a big university. It is ridiculous. It is just, ugh. So I went to community college till last fall semester that I had, which was from September to December, and this was in 2012, I think, or 2013, no, 2014. Yeah, but it was 2012, and in January of 2013, I started at a big university, and I really liked it. It's definitely different, and I really liked it, but I picked a university that was close to home for me. And that's just something that I really like. I like being able to be close to home. I do live by myself, and I really like that. But if I get homesick, I can always drive home because home's not that far away. And that's something that you really need to think about when you're thinking about going to college. You need to think about if you want to live close to home, if you want to go to community college and save money for the first 2 years and then go to a big university. I think going to a community college really prepared me for college, even though I was at a young age. But it's definitely something that you might really want to think about. And going to a big university, it's great. It is hard to meet people, and it was hard to meet people at a smaller college too. But it is hard to meet people, and I ended up going in January, which it was kind of hard to make friends. The great thing is there's sororities and fraternities. That's always something that you might want to think about. My brother and my boyfriend are both in the same fraternity. and they love it. My boyfriend loves it more than my brother does, but they still really liked it. Had a great experience with it. I thought about rushing, but I'm the kind of person that I'm very independent, and I'm not the kind of person I will say this, I am very driven person, and it's definitely something that I don't like being told when I have to show up to something. That is like if I had, with sororities, I have a lot of friends that are in sororities. My brother and my boyfriend have a lot of friends that are in sororities. And it's definitely something that is, when they tell you have to show up when you're a pledge, you have to show up. And they have meetings normally like every Sunday night, and that was something that I really thought about. I was like, well, you know, I want to study and I don't want to have to show up to something if I have a huge test on Monday. That's definitely something you need to think about, is that with sororities and fraternities, there's this huge time commitment. Yes, there are a lot of fun things to do with sororities and fraternities, but it is a huge time commitment. It does take up quite a lot of your time, and it is sometimes expensive. And that's something that you do need to think about. You can make friends without being in a fraternity or sorority. The great thing about when you start college in the fall semester is normally your campus has a lot of things that welcome in your freshmen. And you don't actually have to be a freshman to have to go to it. You can be a junior, a senior, a sophomore, whatever you are in school, you can still go to it. You can make new friends. I made a lot of friends going to the freshman orientation stuff that everyone was invited to. And I'm still friends with those people. You can make friends in your class, but you really need to think about if you want to be in a fraternity or a sorority. I'm not for fraternities or sororities. I don't really like them, but that's just a personal thought. And it just takes a very special type of person to be in a fraternity or sorority. I'm not one of those very special type of people. I cannot handle being a fraternity or sorority, but I made friends without having to be in them, and I've had a great experience. I met my boyfriend at a party, know my brother. And so that's something else that you want to think about with Greek life. Every single party that I've ever been to, there's always alcohol at. I don't drink. I'm very adamant about the fact that I do not like alcohol. And you will be pressured a lot of the times. I have been put into situations that make me feel very uncomfortable. And if you guys want a separate video on how I've overcome that, comment down below. But you do get pressured into drinking. I've never touched alcohol. I will never touch alcohol. I don't like the smell. I've had a taste before. I don't like the taste. It's horrendous. And I don't really, you can still go to parties and not drink, and you can still have fun. And I don't think people that understand that you can still go have fun. I met my boyfriend at a party, and I still had fun, and I've never touched alcohol at any party. And that's a great thing about when I date someone in Greek life. My boyfriend's in a fraternity, and I'm able to go to all of the fraternity parties. So if you know someone that's in a fraternity or sorority, a lot of times if there's something that you want to go to, just ask them and they normally will take you. Now, going on to basically your classes, always get your books ahead of time. Get them the week before school. The bookstore is nuts the week that school starts. Don't go the week that school starts. It is a living nightmare. You'll stand in line for an hour. The second thing is always have a planner. Always write stuff down in your planner. If you have online classes, never postpone anything in college. I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of times when you go to college, you're alone, you're by yourself. It's up to you to study. And that's something that I've had to fight with. I love procrastinating. It's my favorite thing to do. But do not procrastinate. Get your work done ahead of time. It makes life so much easier and so less stressful. I have found that when you're in class with your teachers, always take notes. Get cute notebooks though and cute pens. It makes taking notes a lot more enjoyable than just with a boring piece of paper. This is one of my notebooks that I'm going to be using in one of my classes. And it's just fun, and I use fun pens and different fun things to use when I'm in class. It's a lot more fun if you guys have fun pens and fun notebooks to write in. Always have a goal for your semester. This is my book that I write all of my goals down in. This is also a book that I can take notes in, or just stuff that I just want to freely write. I love having a book that I can just scribble in and have fun with. So this is just that book. I got this at Target. But really, don't postpone your classes. Always study. Always see when your tests are. Study like crazy for your tests. Even if you think they're easy, the first round of tests that you take are always going to be your hardest every semester. I'm a junior in college right now, and I should be a freshman year, and it's not. I am a junior in college, and so this is my second semester of being a junior. And basically what's awesome about that is I'm still having issues taking tests. My first round of tests terrify me, and I'm always scared about it. Always feel comfortable asking your teachers questions. There's not a dumb answer. I know that sounds really weird, and it's sometimes intimidating when you're sitting in class with people that you don't know to like want to raise your hand and ask something. If you don't want to do that, email your teacher, go up after class, ask your teacher, because you don't want to fall behind. Take notes, stay focused in class. If your teacher says put your phone up, put your phone up. Trust me on that. What's really weird, college professors or like high school professors really don't want you to have your phone. It's not really enjoyable. I like Facebook more than listening to lectures. You also might want to ask around about professors. Go look up on Rate My Professor, find your campus, look up your professor name, because a lot of times that can give you a big indication if the professor's a nice person, mean, hard. It gives you a lot of insight on your professor and what other people thought about them. Don't take everything so seriously though on those. They are people's opinions, and you know how people can be on computers. As we've seen on YouTube, they can be pretty mean. Always, if you have an online class, go through your schedule. My best thing for me is I always write down when everything is due, and I try to do it at least 3 days in advance. That way I'm not freaking out and panicking. That's literally the worst feeling ever. So this is just a little bit of advice for like basically how I survive, how I take my tests. If you have, a lot of times professors will have a book, a PowerPoint, and also the lectures that they will have. I take notes from the PowerPoints, notes from the lectures, anything they elaborate on in the PowerPoints I take notes on. You can normally take an iPad or a computer to class unless the teacher says no, but you might want to ask the very first day of class if you can. Otherwise, take a notebook, write like crazy, take down notes if they mention something, take down notes, freak out about it, yeah. But then how I study is a lot of times with my media class that I had last semester, I would read the chapter 3 times until basically I had it memorized. I would go over my PowerPoint at least 8 times to make sure that I had it memorized. Literally everything I had memorized by the time I took my test, and I would score above what we were supposed to on the test because I worked so hard on my tests. And it's made me very successful in college because I study really, really hard for my tests, and I try to keep a realistic mindset. I want to make A's and B's. My boyfriend is crazy, and in med school, he will freak out if he gets a 90. In med school, it's a totally different ball game. It is so hard, and he is a 4.0 student. Will probably graduate top of his med class because he studies ridiculous amount of hours. Try to keep a realistic expectation on what type of grades that you want to make. Realize that if you want to make A's, you have to put in the work and the effort. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys want me to elaborate on anything else from this video or other topics, just leave a comment down below. Follow me on Twitter and Tumblr, and you guys have a fun, fantabulous day. And remember, if you guys are starting college or freaking out about college or whatever, I'm always here for you guys. Feel free to leave a comment below or message me on YouTube, and I will be very happy to message you guys back. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.